Okay, so a little while ago I did a video called Dead Meat Did It Again, and this is where a channel supporter and a friend of mine sent me a bunch of networking gear. So he's done it yet again and sent me some 10 gigabit fiber SFPs and some pre-terminated fiber cable. So we're probably going to string some of these under the house very shortly, but for the moment we're going to stick one of these SFPs in. Now, I did an unboxing of these in my donations and deliveries video. But basically, these are little adapters. If you've never seen an SFP, these are basically like an expansion card. Now, full disclosure, I'm not very familiar with using these as well. This will be the first one of these I've actually really installed. I used to work with a comms company. We did do fiber, but most of my experience with fiber has been basically extending it or threading it through buildings and whatnot, and leaving the termination up to other people. So this will be the first time I actually work with terminating it myself. So let's install one of these guys into the primary switch. Primary switch is above my desk here in my data cabinet. So we have a couple of SFP ports here, and I think port 1 has the plug out. I'm not sure which way up these are meant to go. There is a little clip on the top which I think should engage with that. I don't see any way for it to engage there, so I think we can just push this in and go click. I think it's that simple. And we have a fiber SFP installed. Hanging out in the hallway here, we have a solar charging system that runs a couple of big batteries that also runs this little micro-tick switch in here, which has 2 SFP ports. Now we're in the noisy end of the house and we have another one here, and this whole area is going to get a revamp. We're going to build a new cabinet and probably put a rack or something in, but this also has SFP as well. Depending on cable routing, they may get daisy chained off the one you just saw, or they might go back to direct to the primary switch. We do have a cable coming in haphazardly through the wall here, so we'll work out how this all goes. Okay, we're in the router configuration side here. We're going to mark that SFP port 1 as the 10 gig SFP. We're going to label that. We're going to update those settings here. Alright, so I'm under here doing some preliminary survey. Now this stuff, let me turn on my under desk lights, actually it might help here. Okay, so this is 12 volt power. This is currently squished in my current backbone for the rest of the house. This is the NTD. They left a whopping massive hole behind this, like way more than was required for fiber. And the way I discovered that is I shone a light in there and I saw it shining out there. So rather than cut any more ugly holes in the wall, I might actually just drill another hole that's intermediate in here and then poke the fiber through out here, because there's a noggin right there. That's a noggin right there, so I can't, if I go to this side, I've got to start doing more stuff. Right, we're outside. We do need to put a junction box over this. We will later. We're about 200 mil off, so I think they went through the wall and went down a little bit and come back up again. Bit of a funky arrangement. Anyway, we're going to go through here, I think, because that's about level with that. That comes through exactly the right size behind it. So that, hopefully, if we do it right, won't mess up our fiber connection. I hope. Right, managed to engineer a nice little flap here. I've got a hole and managed to get quite a decent distance off the fiber cable, so I didn't manage to nick that. Very happy. Then we need to like junction box all this stuff. This blue cable is going to be going. That's what I'm going to use as a pull cord to get it back under the floor. If we do things right, junction box will probably hide up under here and you probably won't even know it's there. It'll go down very nicely. Right, I've had to do a lot of this off camera because filming is difficult. There's the base off our junction box with a knockout through, lined up with a hole through. We've knocked out a little gap on the bottom of this so a cable can run down and under here, and we'll use a bit of this split tubing to keep it out of the weather. We should be alright, and we can move these off, hide them in there a bit better now and run them out from under here somehow. Right, meanwhile on the other side of the house I've had rats nibbling cables. That's fun. That's my solar input cable, so that will need fixing at some point very soon. Alright, now it's time to start stringing cable. I appreciate the use of a Ziploc bag here. I'll pull this out gently. My plan to here is really to lay this out nice and straight and then lead it in gently. Okay, we've got a lot rolled off nicely in a nice straight line. I may go further back that way. I'll do a little bit at a time and come back and check each time. Doing this one person is kind of scary. So you need to go this way. I'll try and do it this way so that we snag as few things as possible and we don't get dust in the optic interface, and try and work down the strain relief here. I think I'm going to leave it at the strain relief because I don't really want to be adding strain to the actual cable itself. This has no strain relief in it, so we're going to have to be gentle. Now at some point we had the genius idea to put the wood pile here where it all comes out. So yeah, I'm going to do this bit off camera, and I'll tell you how badly I screwed things up. Just very carefully feeling for any sort of resistance. Which is interesting because I have multiple sclerosis, and one of the things it did affect is the sensitivity of my hands. Oh, I feel resistance. I wonder if that's here. Oh, this is the stuff I don't miss from doing cable stuff. There it is. Here's our cable. All right. Now, so far so good. We haven't had to yank on it hard at all. We'll untape that. In fact, I might just chop that, and we'll pull enough through. Okay, so sometime later we have it inside into the box. All right, and we have something else at the other end of the house to show you. We also have it in this end of the house. We did really well despite all the distractions today. I had to power down the NTD for a moment to move everything to get the fiber through. I had that little heart stopping moment where the optical light didn't come on, part of the normal boot sequence. All right, so now I need to get onto Discord and talk to Dead Meat and work out if I need to do an AB flip. Got to get some info. Okay, moment of truth. We're going to take off the dust protectors off this one. If I can pull them off one-handed. That one is on very tight. Now we pull out the dust protector in that end. Okay, and it looks like the clips go in this way. See how we go. They feel like they go in there, yeah. Alright, we clicked in nicely. That's our fiber in. Alright, hopefully that fits between the door. Alright, we fit nicely behind the door. There's a nice big gentle loop around. We are currently 27 degrees out there. That's fun. Alright, now to do the other end. Now for the other end we need an SFP. I'm told we should be right without attenuators in this, so let's see how we go. So there's an SFP. Let's take it down the other end. Don't go in. Ah, there we go. Alright, so I reckon it's really meant to go in that way. It seems more like it to me. Although, does it go in with that? It does with that bracket down. I'm not sure how that's meant to work, but I'll do it that way for now. And we'll go in like that. Oh, and there's our link lit up straight away, and a 10G link. Alright, we'll see if things work now. So jump over to the apprentice's machine, which is on the other side of that fiber. We'll see if we can ping Google's DNS. And good, we have traffic through to the other end. So we must have done it right. Alright, so now we have the problem of what to do with the excess. Now ironically, I think the safest place for this might be to be neatly bundled and taped and then shoved underneath the house, because that's where it's least likely to get touched. And I can fairly easily remove that and lengthen it if I need to. Now we also need to put the junction box back under that flap and put things largely back together. Gently, gently as we go. I don't want to induce twists into this if I can help it, but kind of when you can't re-terminate the end, sometimes you're going to end up into that scenario. So that should be a nice enough bundle. Now, it's kind of warm out here, and that was a very hot rock I just put my hand on. Alright, so this should go in like so. That one can fold in nicely. This one can go in here. This I think we can rip right out. No longer needed. Alright. The split tubing might accommodate this piece of fibre cable. Right, much neater now, and I'll find a solution to hold this flap down later. But these are all looking good. Alright, so I am going to have to do something about this cable here so I don't snag it with my feet. for the moment it can sit. I'm bloody exhausted, and I've still got to go out the back. I should mention that multiple sclerosis is, in my case, is very affected by heat, and it's very hot and humid out there. Let's actually have a look at what the inside temperature is at the moment. Yeah, don't mind the rickroll here. It should give me, so it's 23 inside, but it's 55% humidity. I guarantee it's more than that outside. Right. You know what? I am too tired today. That is going to get haphazardly shoved in there because we will do cable management later. I almost forgot. I chopped the wrong cable earlier when I was removing some redundant stuff, and I disconnected the motion sensing lights in the kitchen. So now we've got to re-terminate and redo those. You go under the fiber cable and under on the networks, and you go back on that one and we do back down. Now it's important noting that with the rat shoes and everything like that, everything on here is on fuses and correctly rated fuses. So if it starts pulling more than it should on an individual circuit, it should blow a fuse. And then we have a main 60 amp main breaker as well. So 60 amps on any of these cables will trip that breaker, or it'll blow any one of these fuses. And there are fuses at the other end as well. Anyway, I'm just happy to have our kitchen lights back again and at 10 gigabit. Alright, now we're safely inside with the air conditioning happening, and we can see down here we have our 10 gig SFPs working. I need to rename it, but it's working on that, and we can go down the other end and we can see the uplink to the rack here is also working on the 10 gigabit SFP. We do have a couple of other 100 megabit things to address, and I've been going through them with dead meat, and that we probably need to fix some of those things, like my neighbour's places for some reason only got a 100 megabit link. So that could be a cable termination issue. We will work on that a little bit later. For now, the fiber's done. We're happy. I'm hot and sweaty. It's 28 degrees out there, and I'm happy for the air conditioning. So I am going to call this quits, take a break, and we'll see you all in the next video.